Dr. Ruth McConnell, thank you very much for your time, and you're Senior Lecturer of the School of Counselling at Laidlaw College. Can you tell me a little bit about a day for you and your work?
Yeah, I work at Laidlaw and really enjoy the teaching of counselling theories, and mostly enjoy instilling hope for the students who are training there, that they can be God's voice of love and hope and peace in a very turmoiled world. So really empowering them to make a difference is what brings a lot of joy for me. You do counselling as well yourself? Yeah, I work in private practice as well. So part-time at Laidlaw and part-time in private practice.
So you're really at a coalface in terms of where the rubber hits the road, you know, when things aren't well.
Yeah. I do see a lot of clients in distress, so really trying to make sure that as we teach students to counsel, that they know exactly what kind of problems they'll encounter and be well equipped to know how to speak into those problems with hope, as well as well-informed psychological theories of healing. And so we're, dealing in the academic world, but also right at the coalface of where there's pain and suffering in the world.
So I'm thinking about Shine TV and the Christian message, a message of hope, a positive message. How important do you see that to be?
Yeah, I think it's a vital avenue to get out God's hope and His love for the world, especially when people can get caught in depression, and depression isolates people. And so to have media reaching in where maybe people have been cut off from being reached to by friends, then the media can be a channel of hope for them too, and bring encouragement, give them a little bit of light just to guide the next step of their path when they feel it's all dark or crumbling around them. And I think different ones of us have different layers of defendedness in our hearts around how hopeless we become. So some people may not need an awful lot to be poured in before they start to blossom. Others whose layers of pain have been quite, substantial, may need to hear it reiterated many times through their lifetime. Many who haven't had early messages of hope from caring, their caregivers maybe have been abusive or hurtful or neglectful, may struggle to ever even believe they're lovable or that anybody would treasure them. So the church and the media and any way that God can reach out to the world, I think is crucial. Could I tell you a wee story about, I grew up in the Amazon region of Brazil, where my Scottish parents were church planters in the very remotest parts of the tributaries of the Amazon. And a part of their mission organization was to do a Christian broadcast every day, just telling the good news of God's love for people. And the interesting part was my parents would set up a little church congregation, and out of the woods and jungles would float people who said, "I've heard about God's love already." And it was through Christian radio, reaching very remote parts of the jungle of Brazil. And I know here I am in New Zealand, and you think, well, that's kind of an irrelevant story for where Shine TV is going to do. It's reaching out. But I think we still live in a concrete jungle. We live in a pretty overwhelming place at times where our anxiety levels are sometimes through the roof, and we can feel like this jungle is pretty remote, and isolation levels are pretty high. Suicide levels are really high. Depression and anxiety can be that stranglehold around many people's throats. So for Christian media to reach in with the beam of light that's God's word, His love, His gospel of truth, to actually say there's hope in this world, feels similar to work that my mom and dad were doing in the Amazon jungle.
What would you say to people, to viewers, to encourage them to support Shine TV's appeal? What would you say to them?
Well, I'd say that it's really important to get behind it, because it is a supplementary work to the coalface work that the church does, and it can probably reach into places the church can't. And so it would be a vital arm of a mission, basically like a missionary arm of the church. And I think if Shine TV can be more supported, it can do a lot more creative ways of reaching in to people's lives if they're locked in darkness.
Ruth, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.